Here with Waco resident Ashley Pickle.
Yeah.
I'm Greg Tupper. You've basically taken up residency in the jewel of Central Texas.
Yep, it felt like I was never leaving.
When I saw you on Saturday night after the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, you looked like the Waco had seeped into your bones, and like it was in the marrow. You are basically Dave Campbell at this point.
Many people are saying.
I often get you and Dave confused. That happened, by the way. Apparently, I wasn't there, but at a state 7-on-7 qualifier recently, our friends Mallory Hartley and Carter Yates, I want to say. Mallory and Carter were at a state qualifying tournament for 7-on-7, and apparently one of the players came up to them and asked if Dave was here. And
buddy, I got bad news for you.
Not only is he not here, but he ain't coming. He's not showing up. Now here's the thing, is that there is a decent chance that when he said, is Dave here, he meant Step. Do you know what I mean? He meant Step, or maybe he meant me, or like somebody else that he has seen on the Dave Campbell's Texas football programming. I don't believe that he meant what would be a 90 boy. What would Dave be now? 96? Somewhere around there? Because even when Dave was around, he wasn't. Even when Dave was around, you got me. You're twisting and tweaking. She's making it work. Even when Dave was around, he wasn't out there grinding on the state 7-on-7 qualifying tournament, like circuit. That would have been awesome though, if Dave was just like, if the things that Dave was really into was like the Southwest Conference and also like 7-on-7 SQTs, like the real separate stuff of like the big picture stuff. He really wants to see Texas versus Texas Tech, but then also he wants to see like whether or not North Crowley is going to qualify to go to College Station in June. That would be very Dave. Is like the big picture and the little picture.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Dave was not at the state qualifying tournament because Dave has passed on. But we're here, and we've got people at state qualifying tournaments. So I hope that helps. It doesn't.
Probably not.
It's not as cool as Dave Campbell. That's not really up for debate. So Hank is a little under the weather at the moment. Woke up yesterday with a rip-roaring fever, not feeling awesome. But the good news for him is that like he just gets to like stay in his jammies all day. My wife literally just sent me a picture of him still in his pajamas.
I would like to do that.
Still in his jammies. I mean, I slept in this, if that helps.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Well, so I'm kind of in my jammies as well. We need to have. Remember I'm sure you do. Your mother works in public education. Remember when you just have like pajama day at school?
Oh yeah.
Can we bring that back?
It wouldn't be the worst thing. Or here's a thing. A lot of people call it working from home nowadays. That's working in your jammies.
I get dressed whenever I work from home.
Well, that's weird.
Put on a suit.
Yep, there's no way to verify that.
Wear my tuxedo whenever I'm working from home.
Mallory does tend to put on a full-length ball gown when we get home.
That's very Mallory.
Yeah.
Like, what was the thing? It was there's a bit on 30 Rock. It was like Alec Baldwin was wearing a tuxedo and she was like, why are we wearing a tuxedo? She goes, it's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock, Lemon. What am I, a farmer? Anyway, we should all dress up more. That's the official stance.
How did we go from we need jammy days to dressing up?
You were the one who suggested the ball gown.
No. I suggested
Run back the tape.
home. I said Mallory does that. I'm not Mallory.
I get you two confused often.
We look so similar.
Are you the brunette?
Yep.
Okay. You guys both host the same podcast. That's why I get you guys confused. You, V&A, and Mallory, I get you all confused.
Yep. The women. Hard to tell them apart, you know.
You, V&A, Mallory, and Will Wilkerson. I get you four all confused. Very
Nice addition.
Hit the theme expo. y'all from the brand new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a program on the internet. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you're listening to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making this sound good. Let me adjust my mic. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305, Gizmo. She's Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. The most happy Monday. The happiest Monday that's ever been, I found. Oh, I left something at my desk. I'll have to go run and get it during the commercial break. Today is Monday.
Trash.
May 20th. Yeah, 5/20. Yeah. May 20th, 2024. 192 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to...
Yesterday was Aspen's birthday.
I know
and
that.
And that feels like worthy of mentioning.
I know that. It was Aspen's birthday. Happy birthday to Aspen.
Big 2-7.
2-7?
Yep. She's old.
She is old. Oof. Also, happy birthday today to Busta Rhymes.
Oh, solid.
Busta Rhymes is 52 today, and I hope he has an awesome day. It's episode 1773. On today's show, folks, we got headlines from across the state, including a big event is coming to College Station, and it's not just George Strait, a different...
And Parker
big
McCollum.
event. So, okay, I want to get to that in a moment. And then back half the show, Pickle and I and a variety of other friends were down in Waco at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We'll recap that and also hear from one of the inductees coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was jersey number 69,
nice.
Daniel Agnew, TJ Hudson. Oh, no. Technically, Lau Good commented as well. So welcome in, fellas.
Wow, what a... Felt weird.
Well, it's usually after, like, when the intro starts. He had commented in the pre-show.
Got it.
But
okay.
There haven't been enough people to comment.
That's fair. In the post.
Yeah,
I got it.
So we'll shout him out.
Parker McCollum. A quick note on Parker McCollum.
Yes.
That's
my note.
I am certain he falls into that category of people who I am absolutely certain that I've heard his music, just in the zeitgeist and being in existence and being a living, thinking human in America in 2024. Also could not tell you one song.
Really?
I don't. Like, what are some of his big songs? Is he the guy who sings "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy"? Is that him?
Yep, it is.
Okay, "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy." What else?
Even if I say it, you're not gonna know. Like, you're not gonna know it based off the title. I don't think.
Does it have to do with trucks or mud or cricks?
No.
Or
Parker McCollum is fantastic. I love Parker.
I don't doubt that he is. I mean, he's opening for George Strait?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a minimum bar. Like, you and I are not opening for George Strait on kazoos. No. You know what I mean?
I've seen Parker McCollum in concert.
Okay, that's a brag.
It was. Brian surprised me with tickets.
Oh, is that the guy that you guys went and saw? Mm-hmm. Okay. So
funny story. You want an actual funny story?
And here were the funny stories, Ashley Pickle.
That I didn't realize. So I absolutely love Parker McCollum. Brian has surprised me. Brian is my fiance. He has surprised me with tickets to Parker McCollum before. Apparently, the night that Brian was going to propose, he had bought tickets to a Parker McCollum show in San Antonio. So one of my favorite artists in my favorite city. And the Cotton Bowl got in the way. So... yeah, he had it all planned out. Had no idea until after the fact.
Classic.
And then I was really sad. I love the Cotton Bowl. That would have been incredible.
Do you remember what happened in the most recent Cotton Bowl?
No. Jen Tepper's team won.
Anyway, let's get some headlines from across the state of Texas. Get this thing going. So... there was some big news that came out last week, and it wasn't just the trailer for NCAA Football 2025.
Which rocks.
Which everybody's very excited about. It does look good, and we're going to buy it, and we're going to play it, and we're probably going to stream it here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. So don't you worry, and I cannot wait. Dial-up army Just run the triple.
Let the troops.
I'm gonna make. Y'all are gonna hate defending fullback dive for 60 minutes. Anyway, all that's to say, the other big news that came out is that ESPN, Entertainment Sports Programming Network, will be bringing their College Game Day program to College Station in Week 1 for the opener, as the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame visit the Mike Elko-led Texas A&M Aggies in their season opener. It really is kind of like dripping with intrigue here. First of all, like you just have, it's two brand names, right? It's Notre Dame and it's A&M, right? I don't know the last time Game Day was in College Station.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been a minute, I think. But it's a big game. Obviously, the debut of Mike Elko, head coach at Texas A&M, that's very big. Notre Dame, of course, is a brand name. There's also the connection, and it also does feel like a really important game for both teams, of like one of these teams is going to start the year with kind of a signature win, like a win that you really hang your hat on. Either Notre Dame goes to College Station and gets a win over an SEC program, or Texas A&M starts 1-0 with a win over like what probably will start the year ranked. Notre Dame almost always starts ranked, right? And they were good last year. Like they're going to start the year ranked. I haven't gone through national rankings quite yet. So that's part of it. The other thing is that like Mike Elko does have Notre Dame ties. If you remember, Jimbo Fisher hired Mike Elko away from Notre Dame to be his defensive coordinator. That's how he ended up coming to College Station and what gave him his initial connection to the Aggies. And so dripping with intrigue, very interesting, and I think probably the right call. I haven't looked across their schedule, but I would also say that I think, how do I want to phrase this? I think College Game Day has to try to project ahead and think, okay, like week 1, we don't want to do Ohio State because chances are we're probably going to do an Ohio State game later, right? You don't want to go back to a place. And so this is probably the biggest home game aside from when Texas comes to town, but I don't think that'll be a Thursday night game on Thanksgiving, so they won't be in College Station for that. So this is their opportunity to do it there in College Station. I think it makes a lot of sense. So A&M and Notre Dame will kick off the season on College Game Day. That is big. There was also a note last week that Baylor and SMU, in the era of conference realignment and we're breaking up all these rivalries and stuff like that, Baylor and SMU, they're getting the Southwest Conference back together. As for 2025 and 2026, SMU and Baylor have signed a home agreement where SMU will host Baylor next September 6th, 2025, and then SMU will travel to Waco, to McLean Stadium, to play Baylor in 2026. That is good. I want to say for the record, that is a good thing and I like it. Those are good things. Also, I don't think it should be lost on anybody that SMU, upon pausing the TCU rivalry, is going and scheduling TCU's rival. Mm-hmm. I don't think that should be lost on anybody. I think that is I think that should be something that you should know, and I do not think is an accident. I think that there is a little bit of right now what I think TCU and SMU are going through is a lot of what A&M and Texas went through in like 2012 and 2013, yep. Which is a lot of like, we broke up, I'm with this new person, like, we're great, I'm doing awesome, I'm posting all this cool stuff on Instagram.
I don't miss you at all.
I don't miss you at all. In fact, I love that we're broken up.
Yeah, could not be happier.
Could not be happier. It's all been very, very good. But I do think that
But I might go on a date with your friend.
Exactly right. Yeah. Can I go on a date with your best friend? Like that's the equivalent of what's going on here. There's a little bit of pettiness going on. It would not be a surprise for like TCU to announce a home and home with like an ACC team or something like that. Be like, oh, by the way, we're going to do Florida State. I'm going on a date with Florida State or Clemson or something like that. Anyway, it's a little messy right now. Right now, it's a little messy. It's giving messy in TCU and SMU, but SMU and Baylor are going to play in 2025 and 2026. It is like, I don't know. That was the first thing I thought whenever I saw that headline on TexasFootball.com. Was like, oh boy, SMU's getting real petty. And Baylor, I'm sure for their part, is like, we're happy to play a part in y'all's little tiff. I'm sure they're happy to do that. Anyway, that's something to know. And then finally, there's a big weekend of 7-on-7. Of course, the state qualifying tournaments are going on right now. Teams are qualifying to get to College Station at the end of June, which of course we will have wall-to-wall coverage here on TexasFootball.com of all of the state champion or the state tournament down there in College Station at the end of June. Got big stuff planned for that. But teams are punching their ticket this week, or in state qualifying tournaments across the state of Texas, and there are a variety of them this week. There's an Allen state qualifying tournament, and in Allen, the teams that qualified were Allen. They would beat Prosper Rock Hill in the final to get there, as well as Byron Nelson. Byron Nelson will be in College Station after qualifying for the state tournament by grabbing one of those spots at the Allen SQT. In Wichita Falls, Abilene Cooper is heading to College Station. They get a win over Lubbock Coronado in the final to qualify for the state qualifying or the state tournament. Lake Travis down in Austin, Austin McCallum and Austin Westlake will both be in College Station. Westlake is a perennial attendee, and I do not think is necessarily any surprise. McCallum getting in there is good for them. Really nice win for them. They will be in College Station after getting a spot from the Lake Travis state qualifying tournament. In Division II, they're in Northwest. They had it. There were a couple of teams that qualified. Graham is, if you don't know this, if you don't follow 7-on-7, Graham is like the powerhouse of 7-on-7. Every year they're there. They're good at it. They take it seriously. They usually play pretty deep in the tournament.
That's one of those teams, too, that we always get a pretty good read on how well they're going to do in the regular season based off of them. Like, some teams you can't take a whole lot of stock into 7-on-7 on, but Graham's usually one that if they're cooking on 7-on-7, it's like, okay, you got to watch out.
I have a theory, if I may.
Okay.
My theory on that is that their offense tends to be, they're kind of running a lot of their base stuff there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this more as the state tournament gets here, but you have some teams that go out there and run 7-on-7 offenses. They run offenses that are designed to win 7-on-7 games, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't necessarily project for the fall. Graham, I think, because I think you're spot on, when Graham is good at 7-on-7, they tend to be good in the fall. And I think it's because they run their base stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're running the routes they're going to run in the fall. And obviously, if the offensive line stinks, they're not going to be good. But, like, we'll find out the quarterback has a good rapport with their offense. So I think you're spot on. Like, generally speaking, that's a good tell for them. Lake Dallas also qualified there at the Northwest SQT. In Needville, it was Hitchcock who qualified. Hitchcock, of course, won the state tournament last year. Lloyd Jones III and company are coming back down. They're excited to see what they do. In McLennan County, they're in Central Texas. A pair of teams qualified. Robinson is going to College Station with they qualify for the state tournament, as well as Alvarado. Alvarado, big high hopes for them. High hopes for Alvarado in 2024, and excited to see them in College Station. Chapel Hill state qualifying tournament. Sabine qualifies out of the Chapel Hill tournament, as well as my mom's alma mater, the Dallas Kimball Knights.
How about that? Are
heading to College Station after they qualify. So excited to see Kimball down there. In the Wimberley state qualifying tournament, Austin LBJ qualifies. Nice. Keep an eye on them. Not just in 7-on-7, but also in the fall. LBJ is a team that you may remember played in the state championship game in 4A. Austin ISD decided to opt up all their teams for the next alignment, and they just kind of fell back to the pack in 5A. They were a little overmatched because they were supposed to be 4A. They're punching up. Now they're dropping back down to 4A. Austin ISD allowed them to drop back down. And so as a result, for them to now play not just in 4A in the fall, but also to play in Division II in state 7-on-7, I think that's telling. So keep an eye on that. Then Division III, the small schools in Dublin, it was Millsap and Sonora who qualified for the state tournament. At the Brazos SQT, it was Rice Consolidated and Lexington. Lexington, another team that is a perennial kind of power there in 7-on-7. And in the Hawley SQT out there in the big country, it was Eastland qualified for the state 7-on-7 tournament, as well as the Bobcats of Sunray.
How about that?
Armando Luan Hive, stand up. We're excited to see Sunray is going to roll into College Station. We get to get our eyes on Armando Luan and company. So that is the state 7-on-7 qualifying tournament results from across state. We've got complete coverage on TexasFootball.com. It's really heating up over the next few weeks. This is really like prime 7-on-7 time. This weekend, next weekend, big weekends for tournaments. So keep your eyes glued and your ears listening to TexasFootball.com. Those are the things that those two senses do. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell. See us at TexasFootball.com. If I look bad, which is most of the time, but if I look especially bad right now, it's because I have not had a ton of sleep. And Pickle, do you know why I haven't had a ton of sleep?
The magazine.
Because I've been grinding on the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which we send to press on Friday. That's a terrifying sentence for me to say out loud. But we're going to send that bad boy to press on Friday. And if you want your copy of the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football mailed to you before it hits newsstands, the only way to get that is to go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. You get that magazine. You get the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Rising magazine coming out in the around Thanksgiving, which is our recruiting edition. You get a year of exclusive content at TexasFootball.com, including Tep and Step, our premium high school football podcast, as well as Dave Campbell's Texan Live. A year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. An irresponsible number of events on TexanLive.com, including like right now. Not right now, but like now, generally. Mm-hmm. Great stuff on TexanLive.com. You get all those events. In fact, I dare you to watch all of them. I dare you. You can't. I think you physically can't. Like, I think that's literally impossible.
Yeah, no, I can yeah, no, you can't.
Don't do it.
There's so many.
But you should try by going to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. It's the end of, for a graduation gift.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Like, we make these jokes about, like, get it for Flag Day or whatever. I got to be honest. If you get somebody who's graduating, it's kind of a kick-ass gift. Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah. I know somebody who's graduating, and I might get them a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. TexasFootball.com/subscribe is where you can become Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Coming up here in just a moment, Pickle and I were in Waco. Did we commit any crimes? Let's find out, but first a word from these goods and services.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose, come on! Get on up, oh yeah! Get on up! Bustin' loose when you wanna sing, bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley. And Pickle and I don't often spend weekends together, kind of by design. It's usually like a nice way of us getting separation from one another. It's nice. But we did spend a little bit of time this weekend together in Waco. at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, specifically at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony down there in Waco. We broadcast it live on TexanLive.com. You can go back and watch it. Right? It's on demand right now. It's also on our YouTube page as well. You can go find it. And it is always a fun event at a challenging time on our calendar. May is very busy for us, for Texan Live and for the magazine. But every time, and I don't know if you get this feeling, Pickle, because we've now broadcast this thing for the last 4 years, 3 years?
3, I think.
3 years. Whenever I see it on my calendar, I'm always like, oh man, I gotta go to Waco. I gotta do this thing. We gotta drive down there. And then when we get there, I'm like,
it's a blast.
I'm really glad we came. Like, once you're there, it's like awesome. Like, I'm glad we did it. And once again, it delivered. If you've never been to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, it really is super cool. Mm-hmm. We brought Erin Hardigan this year. She co-hosted, or she hosted, and I was also there, our broadcast. And she has been to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, but she's never been to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Mm-hmm. And so we walked through the Hall of Fame, as I usually do. See the Southwest Conference Hall of Honor, Texas High School Football Hall of Fame section back there, which is super cool. As well as we went and we saw Wax Dave.
Because of course.
You got to go to the Dave Campbell library that they have there with Wax Dave wearing Dave's old clothes. He donated those. Those are actually his clothes.
Which is awesome.
That he donated to the Hall of Fame, which rocks. But it was a fun event there at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, or Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And this past year, we had an outstanding group of inductees. Riley Odoms, if you don't know how they do it, I guess I should back up. The way that the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame does it is that one inductee goes in per decade. Because they don't want it to be like, oh, we're putting in all these guys from the 2000s or all these guys from the 1990s. They want it to be relatively balanced in that regard, which I think is the right way to go about it. So as a result, you get all these different generations of Texas high school football. And when you go, what I think is so cool is you really do get to tell the whole story of Texas high school football. And that's what I think is so cool. So representing 1969 and before, it was Riley Odoms from Corpus Christi West Oso, who was really one of the most transformative tight ends. Went on, he was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, but he cut his teeth there at Corpus Christi West Oso. He gave a great speech there. Brent Duhan from Port Arthur Jefferson went in for the 1980s. He was unable to be there. I believe Craig said that he had recently had surgery.
Yes.
Somebody had a medical procedure.
Yeah. But it sounded like he was doing well. It wasn't anything. It was just a medical procedure that meant he could not drive to Waco.
Recovery. So Brent Duhan, the outstanding receiver from Port Arthur Jefferson, was there. For the 1990s, Corey Redding. Corey Redding, representing North Shore, the East Side Boys. He was there, an enormous man, a very large defensive tackle, and a menace there. We have a great interview Mallory Hartley did with Corey Redding there at there. And first of all, it's not quite like her standing next to Leonard Davis, but he did tell a great Leonard Davis story.
Yes.
There's a tease. So that's on our YouTube page. You can see that interview. But Corey Redding was there. Posthumously, Cedric Benson went into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame for the 2000s. And certainly one of the most transformative players in Texas high school football. I mentioned this on our pregame show when we were talking about it. I think there's an argument to be made that Cedric Benson was the last Texas high school football legend. And what I mean by that is he came along at that time in the early 2000s, which was right before the internet. And you would hear stories, mythical stories of this running back out in the Permian Basin at Midland Lee, and it's you'll never believe he's actually the greatest player of all time. And it's you're talking about Bigfoot. You know what I mean? It's man, you'd never believe what I saw.
Yep.
And now when that happens, Kyler Murray, when Kyler Murray really started cooking at Allen, everyone's just I'll just go watch Kyler Murray highlights. With Cedric Benson, this was pre-internet, and so it was all word of mouth and stuff. And then you saw him and you're oh, you're the most spectacular running back I've ever seen. He, of course, was tragically killed recently. His mother and I believe his brother were there to represent him and induct him. A very emotional moment there when Secretary Benjamin went in posthumously. There were a couple of other outstanding inductees there. The Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award. So there's an award named for our namesake, Dave Campbell, which honors people who are not necessarily, who maybe fall outside the bounds of the normal Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, usually it's a coach or player.
Coach or player, yeah.
Coach or player is a pretty easy way to put it. These are people that are associated with the game of Texas high school football, but not necessarily solely through that.
Perfect example. The Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award is how Craig Way is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I think we all agree Craig Way should be in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, right? He can't get in because he didn't play or didn't coach. But the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game is a way of honoring people around the sport. And this year it went to Robert Lee Brown. If you don't know who Robert Lee Brown is, he is the head of the Prairie View Interscholastic League Coaches Association, the PVI-LCA. And he has been so instrumental in just keeping the legacy of the PVIL alive, which of course was the league for black athletes in the era before integration. And the stories that they tell and just his diligence in making sure that that is a part of Texas high school football history, 100% deserving and certainly a long time coming, quite frankly, for Robert Lee Brown to go into the Texas High School Hall of Fame. And then there were two people who went in as the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Football Hall of Fame coach honorees. One of them was John Wilkins. John Wilkins, of course, the legendary coach at Odessa Permian. Who was there and has some unbelievable, ungodly record there during the 80s when he was really, really cooking. He was the guy who was right before Gary Gaines. If you're here for Friday Night Lights, Gary Gaines was the coach during the Friday Night Lights era. He was the guy who preceded it and really helped make that like the preeminent dynasty in Texas high school football. But he was there, gave a great speech, very funny, very, very funny. But I will tell you this. Mojo,
they showed out.
They were rolling deep. There were probably
like 50, 60 people there for him.
Probably like 25, 30 former players. He asked the former players to stand up, and like half the room stood up. It was crazy.
It was awesome.
And then after he got done, they did the Mojo chant, which is great. But John Wilkins goes into the Texas High School Hall of Fame. The other gentleman who went in is Tim Buchanan. Tim Buchanan, the former Alito coach, of course, the legendary coach there with Alito. He goes into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Again, long time coming. I think they want to wait for you to retire. It's not always that they do it. Like Phil Danaher went in when he was still active.
Yeah.
But I think they want to wait for you to retire. Tim Buchanan retired, and then they were like, yep, it's you, immediately.
Yeah. I think that's safe, you know.
Oh, yeah, I think that's
just
true.
Even for like more reasons that could happen outside the field, it's probably better to keep the legacy of the High School Football Hall of Fame intact.
I agree. But Tim Buchanan goes in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. A great induction speech as well. But before he got inducted, he did catch up with our Mallory Hartley to talk about the honor.
Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas football, here in beautiful Waco, Texas, at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Standing here, the man of the hour, former Alito head football coach, Tim Buchanan. Coach, I bet you get this question all the time, but I want to ask it. Are you missing being down there on the sidelines yet or not?
You know what? I've handled it really well this time. I miss it. Yeah, do I miss the kids? I miss the kids. But I go and watch a lot of football practices now. I've seen football practices in West Texas, South Texas, East Texas, and North Texas. I've been to games around the state. So it's been a lot of fun, actually.
And what an incredible run you had at Alito. The only coach to win a state title in 4 separate decades. 8 titles to be exact. When you got that call initially that you were going to be inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame for the class of 2024, what were your first thoughts?
Well, first, you just made me sound really damn old.
I did not mean to do that. You know that.
Well, you know, Dr. Brydup called me. And first of all, when you get a call from Dr. Brydup, I was still employed by Alito ISD, I think maybe at that time. I'm not sure, but it scares the heck out of you when you get a call from the UIL, especially Charles Brydup. But it was, it honestly, brought tears to my eyes because getting inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame is the ultimate honor that a high school football coach in Texas could have.
Well, and I was going to say, too, you just mentioned it. I mean, you're joining the Hall of Honor with some of the greats like G.A. Moore and Gordon Wood. So kind of talk about that and what that means to be joining some of the best Texas high school football coaches in the history of the sport.
Well, I mean, sitting next to John Wilkins from Odessa Permian, Gordon Wood, who I can remember running track and going to Brownwood for track meets, and G.A. Moore, all of those guys are legends. And just to be mentioned with these guys is, I keep wanting to wake up or thinking I'm going to wake up and think it was a dream, because it is not something that whenever I went into coaching 40 years ago that I thought was ever going to happen.
And finally, you got to watch your successor, Robbie Jones, bring home another state title to Parker County last year. Man, walk me through that. I bet that was one of the coolest moments in your career.
Well, I've gotten to do it twice now, because when I went full-time AD, back when we started growing so fast that I couldn't keep up, and Steve Wood did it, and then to see Robbie do it, because Robbie has been there since the year 2000.
Right.
Robbie has been he is the longest tenured coach other than I was. Now he is the longest tenured coach at Aledo ISD, and he deserved the job, number one, and he showed how good of a football coach he was. As you saw, they really didn't need me around anyway. So
they kicked you to this curb a little bit.
Yeah, they said, you going down the road. We got a better guy behind you.
Well, that's so awesome. We'll be watching your Bearcats, of course, this past year. But thanks so much for joining us today, and really congratulations on such an incredible honor.
Thank you.
Aaron, back to you.
My name's Greg Mallory. It's very rude. Tossed to Aaron. Weird. Anyway, Tim Buchanan, now a Texas High School Hall of Famer, well-deserved, obviously. Fantastic coach and a multiple-time state champion. One of 3 coaches to win a state championship in 4 different decades, which is like crazy to think about. Mm-hmm. Like
you gotta catch it right.
90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. It's like, that's insane. But anyway, obviously deserving. There were a couple of other things I wanted to mention. Craig Way was the MC. Great to see Craig, per usual. Got to catch up with him. A lot of our friends were there. They also get to, it's very cool to see the
state champion winning head coaches.
They honor all the state champions. I believe everyone was there. Reginald Samples couldn't make it from Duncanville. And then I believe Nathan Hayes couldn't make it from Benjamin. But other than that, all the UIL state champion coaches were there to be honored. There was was the THSCA award? What was the award that Oglesby got?
The Gordon Wood Award.
Gordon Wood Award, yeah.
And then the Tom Landry Award was to Randy Allen.
Randy Allen. So,
but yeah, Oglesby.
Oglesby earned the Gordon Wood Award, which is given to a team that represents excellence in Texas high school football, both on and off the field. Oglesby, Jeb Dixon got up there and gave a great speech on behalf of Oglesby. I thought it was super. This is just
speech.
It was a great speech, and I will also just say, I think it's super cool that they honored a 6-man team. That's me. I think that's great. I think, generally speaking, it's been 11-man. I think it's super cool they honored a 6-man team, well deserving of what Jeb Dixon and company have done at Oglesby. And then, the Tom Landry Award was given to by the Tech, which is an award presented by the Texas High School Coaches Association in conjunction with the Hall of Fame. Was given to Randy Allen of Highland Park, which is perfect. If you know anything about Randy Allen, we're getting the Tom Landry Award, considering he wears the hat because of Tom Landry. So he gave a great speech as well. Just great to see a lot of friends there at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. There was one other thing, and we talked about it on the broadcast. That there was a QR code that you can donate to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame and the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. There's a variety of ways that they raise money to keep that thing going. It's a nonprofit, is the Texas Sports Hall of Fame and the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. But one of the ways that they do it is through donations and then through auctions. And they auction off a variety of different things. And so, for example, they had there was a silent auction going on, and you could get a Rams helmet signed by Matthew Stafford. Right? That's pretty cool. They had like a bunch of other things like donated from the Waco community that you can get. But there were a variety of other things out there. And about 15 minutes before the silent auction went dark, I just kind of zoomed through the room because I always like seeing what they kind of have. I've never bid on anything. I've never bid on anything in the Texas for that. But there was one thing that caught my eye because it didn't have any bids. There were no bids. And I'm like, okay, let's check out the minimum. The minimum was like within my range. And I'm like, you know what? At the very worst, I'm going to drive a little bit more revenue to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, right? Because I'll bid something and then somebody will come and outbid me, and great. All of a sudden, everybody wins in this one. So at the end of the night, they announced all the winners of the silent auction, and lo and behold, they call my name because nobody else bid on this thing. And so I am now the proud owner. Let me find this. This is what I have to run to my desk to get. Let's see if I can pull it out of my backpack. I am now the proud owner of a football signed by the class of 2018, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. That includes Brad Dusek, who's Dave Campbell's Texas football cover boy. Ken Washington is on here. Tommy Jeter. Phil Danaher's on here. Bob Shelton. Bruce Hardy, the late great Bruce Hardy. And then one person who was there and one person who wasn't. Jonathan Gray. It's Jonathan Gray right there. And Dave Campbell's Texas football multiple-time cover boy, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, that's a good one.
On this.
That's a good class.
And I got this for less than you think. I was happy to get it. So I'm probably going to put this, I might expense it. Maybe I should just expense it and make Adam pay for it, because I'll put it up here on the shelves, stuff like that. But pretty cool. I was happy to win the silent auction for this thing. So yeah, I'm not going to complain about this. Pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
But it was a great weekend down there at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame for the Texas High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We appreciate everybody watching, and we appreciate them letting us crash their party. You know.
Yeah, Tiffany and Mike Anderson do such a great job with that event, and I know they work very hard for it. So it's always a really cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes into that you don't see behind the scenes to make that thing happen. But it's a very special event, and a lot of fun to see old friends down there in the middle of a busy time for us. But like I said, it's always very good once we get down there. So we appreciate the Texas Sports Hall of Fame for having us jabronis down there to be part of their special day. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
I believe that we have a full week of shows coming up, so that's the first time in a hot minute.
How about that?
But yeah, we'll be here every day at noon.
You know what that means tomorrow is?
Math Tuesday.
We are. I should tell you, we're dark next week. I'm out next week. So we are dark next week, but then June 3rd, Monday, June 3rd, if you want to mark your calendar, we'll start promoting this a little bit more. But the cover reveal, Dave Campbell's Texas football cover reveal, will be Monday, June 3rd. 2 weeks from today is the Dave Campbell's Texas football cover reveal. We should probably go shoot a cover.
That seems like something that we should do.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Tim Buchanan, the newly minted Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow for Math Tuesday on Texas Football Today.
Tuesday.